Hi everyone, good morning. Isn't it interesting how yesterday just disappeared and never happened? Did you also experience that? That's cool. That wasn't me. That was just the universe. It's the 13th of December now anyway, and it's Lucia, which is a big thing in Sweden. Saint Lucia? Lucia? How do you pronounce it in English? Oh, Saint Lucy, right. So it's Saint Lucy's Day here in Sweden, which maybe you've seen that. It's when it's a girl with a wreath thing in her hair and candles stuck in the wreath. And she walks around when it's really dark outside, giving people buns and things. Not really the carnival in Brazil, is it? I guess it is kind of a nice tradition, especially since it's so fucking dark this time of year. All of this, I think, is in order for the Nordic countries not to commit collective suicide in the winter. Kind of have sour memories from childhood, though. Swedish kids in school are forced to partake in the Lucia tåg, which is the sort of procession of Saint Lucy or whatever. On the surface, it's kind of fun. Kids dress up as gingerbread men and Santa Clauses and tärnor, how the fuck, with all the glitter and the white robes and shit. I think in elementary school I was a gosse. What the fuck's the word? Stjärngosse. So I had to wear a silly hat with a star on top, glitter all over me. But I think I did it once, and then I insisted on being sick the rest of the years. Because I hate that kind of thing when you're forced into a procession of some sort. Some people really like it though. And those people are wrong. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna celebrate St. Lucy's Day by reviewing some words about hairdressers. Apparently, that's the project I'm working on now, as per tradition, you know. I have some plans for today, so I'm actually not just gonna sit inside all day, which is exciting. Let's do some work, everyone. Yeah, in the name of St. Lucy. Let's review some translations. Yeah. After a hard day at work, I headed on into town to do some Christmas shopping. This is Hötorget, or Bajstorget, as I like to refer to it. Yeah. It's an old square where I assume there used to be an old Haymarket. Nowadays you can buy everything from a shit ton of tulips to Christmas trees and mushrooms. This is a great area to buy Christmas presents, and for your convenience I now bring you a list of possible presents to yourself or your loved ones. You can buy some marzipan Santas who look like they have, in order to sit down properly, were forced to dislocate their hips. If you have a crush on someone this Christmas, why not give them some huge fucking bananas? Or perhaps a Leif GW Passion board game. And for the older men out there, you can treat them to Börja rida med Sigge, a book for how to properly put down skin and disembowel a pony. After this, I just headed on back home and slept like a motherfucker. Yeah. I was actually murdered by a hamster on December 14th, so I couldn't film much. Sorry about that. December 15th, me and Linda decided to head on over to the Christmas market at Skansen, Stockholm's zoo and outdoor museum. We got there the old-fashioned way, by boat, since Skansen famously is on an island called Djurgården. When we got there, we realized apparently we weren't the only ones who had heard about the Skansen Christmas market. Bastards. After about 4 hours, we got in and immediately rushed to one of the fires to warm our stiff and throbbing extremities. This is proof that no one is born for this fucking climate. Skansen is most famous for being a zoo, but it also has a replicated old Swedish village you can visit, filled with hundreds of years old workshops where local craftsmen show off traditional Swedish craftsmanship. For instance, there's a glass blowing workshop you can visit and check out the skilled workers in action. This really felt a bit more like the first stop of the zoo though. I was expecting signs that said I couldn't feed them, but I did, yeah. Walking through the village, it was pretty cool seeing these different crafts shops, like a bookbinding shop, a smithy, one for tin works, and one for whatever the fuck this is. When we got all the way up the hill, we reached the reason for coming here, the Christmas market, yes. And straight away there was a bunch of traditional dancing going on. Since I thrive in these situations. Naturally, I joined in and quickly became the center of the party. Sad thing that we didn't catch that on film though. The market itself was actually pretty cool. Loads of different stalls selling crafts, foods and things. You can buy Christmas gifts in this store, Christmas presents in that one, and also if you fancy you can also buy some Christmas gifts in this one. If you want to get in touch with your inner maniac, you can also apparently buy some smoked moose heart. I mean, who the fuck wants it smoked? There was also a couple of witches who tried to convince people that they were actually brewing and selling beer. Of course, I was skeptical but agreed to try a sample. I didn't turn into a newt, as you can see, so yay, I guess. I mean, I do have 2 penises now, but I think that's mainly down to just trying really hard. For those of you interested in ancient Scandinavian history, there's also this trash can put here about 4,000 years ago, I'm pretty sure. After all this wandering around the market, both of us had frozen our tits off, so lunch and an open fire were very much appreciated. I also cooked my own foot, as you can see, which is an old Swedish tradition that is a little bit made up. Finally, after lunch, we were ready to see some animals. And look, a fucking pony! Whoa! We also stumbled across some pigs, one of whom sadly appears to have not made it through the night. Poor kids tried to resurrect it, but to no avail. Berit is no more. Speaking of children, every year there's a Swedish tradition where we sacrifice our least wanted kids to the giant snake god Håkan. If you don't believe me, you can see here it's all very tragic, but the children even line up neatly and appear to already have accepted their fates. Next we have a goat. And finally we got to the ferocious section, one of brown bears and lynxes. This is clearly where I felt most at home. Yeah. This, however, is the only bear we found. It really does not disappoint though, does it? It really does look ready for a bit more than a bear hug, if you see what I mean. The lynx wasn't very ferocious either, I'm afraid. It just did what most cats do, I guess. Next it was time for another save stop in Dark Souls in order to warm our hands before we headed on back home. But the only way back was guarded by a group of geese who apparently had escaped their enclosures. For this next bit, I think I should warn sensitive viewers of what you're about to see.